to see you. Thanks for joining us yesterday. That was awesome. It was just, you got in there, and wow, what a journey, what a time of transition we're in, hey?
Yeah,
Like
amazing.
all
I
the
mean,
stuff you've written
this
about for
really
years.
truly is a huge moment that we could use. And so the people, all you guys out there in the audience, I love you, and I'm really glad you're here. And we can, with these kind of numbers, actually, the ancient ones that had told me all about this, it only three people can change everything in the world if they use this technique that we're using right now. That's what they say. And so we got a little more than three. So I think the odds are really on our side. And and for you guys out there, I call this the secret place in your heart, because it's secret because everybody has this place in your heart, but nobody knows about it, hardly. There's just a few people in the world that actually know and know how to access it. So today, I'm going to have to teach you some things first, assuming you don't know anything. I'm assuming everybody doesn't know anything, but of course many of you do. And so for you that knows this stuff already, then you can just sort of listen and hang out. But there's this place inside of your heart that when you go there, you can change anything in your own life that you want to. And but coming from another planet, not another planet, but another place. And being part of the Melchizedek order, I am not allowed to do those things personally, but you can. You can get them together, and you can actually change the whole system here fast. It doesn't have to take years or anything. It can go really fast. And so it's it. The first thing you need to know is I'm going to take you in. I'm going to lead you into a meditation, and we're going to begin the meditation in your brain. And that the reason you do that is because you have to actually leave your brain to go to your heart. You have to let it go. And if you don't let it go, the brain will just keep going, and then you'll never get there in your heart, no matter what you think's going on. So we will start there, and I'll lead you through to how you go into it. And then and eventually you're going to find that there is that what I'm telling you is only just a little tiny bit of what's possible in here and what can be done. It's huge. It's like I, it's all I can say is it's vast, and we're only going to be touching on certain places to get you to a very specific place, this secret place in your heart, which the Vedas called the tiny space of the heart. And once you're in there, it is an image world. We think that everything out here in this reality is real, but it really isn't. It's an image. It isn't actually there. And when you get in your heart and you begin to understand this, that's why you can change things, because you could just change the image, put it out into the reality, and the reality accepts it as truth, because it is the truth. And so the first thing I need to tell you is that there's not just one place in the heart, there's two. There's one inside of the other one. So if you could put that first slide up. Can you do that? Well, it'll be here in a minute. But this is if I had to tell you, there it is. If I had to tell you what this was, it would be really hard to do. So don't worry about those white beams and what that means. That's a whole nother thing. And this is actually referring to the biomagnetic field that is around every single human being. You don't know it probably, but you have a field around you, roughly 55, 65 feet around you, that is a magnetic field. And further, what you might need to know is that the magnetic field of the Earth intersects with your biomagnetic field, and you can connect with every single person on Earth directly through your magnetic field. But we're not going to talk about that today, or we're going to talk about it, but we're not going to go into there. I want to go into something more important, and that is the two fields, the fields that are inside the heart are toruses. They're not spheres or anything else like that. They have a little. It's just like the magnetic field of the earth. They go in and they curve and they go down and they come back out and they keep circulating around. And this. These two fields, when I lead you into this meditation, you will first, you have no choice, you will be going through the larger one, the outer one. And when you do, there's all kinds of things that are just fantastic inside of there. And if I have time afterwards, maybe we can talk about it, or maybe we can come back and talk about it later. But this is exactly how it is in the heart. There's an inner torus and an outer torus. So when you first go in, you have to go through the large one, and then you have to find your way into the smaller one, and then directly to the tiny space of the heart. And so that's about all I need for that. And if I could just get to the next slide. There you go. This comes from the Upanishad. And a very specific one, it's the Chandogya Upanishad. And there's a very specific place in there, which is 8.1.2-3, if you want to go in there and read it for yourself. But this is what it says. And this is really, really old. This is thousands of years old. It says, if someone says to you, in the fortified city of the imperishable, our body, there is a lotus, and in this lotus a tiny space. What does it contain that that one should desire to know it? You must reply, as vast as this space without is, the tiny space within your heart, heaven and earth are found in it, fire and air, sun and moon, lightning, and the constellations. Whatever belongs to you here below, and all that doesn't, all this is gathered in that tiny space within your heart. They meant this literally. Everything that's in the heavens that you can see through the Hubble telescope or anything else, all that is in the tiny space of your heart. And everything, all the sun, the earth itself, the moon, it's all there. And when you discover this, it's sometimes kind of breathtaking. I've had people just kind of go a little funny for a while, realizing that what's in the heavens is also inside of your body. But this is very true. And so if you continue to go back, it might take you a few weeks or something to really begin to understand how important this is. Because once you find this, you will be able to go, you'll be able to do things that right now you would consider impossible, but they're really not. And so we can get rid of that screen now. And I don't know if you have the third slide. Can you put that one up? Okay. And okay, we're just waiting for the next slide. This is the last slide we're going to go through. It's coming. It's almost there. There we are. That's this one. This one is holds the mathematics of the entire universe and every single thing in it. It is a ratio that if you can you see my hand when I do that? No, you can't see that, I guess. If you take the first sphere that you see, where you can see the 6 little kind of stars going around it, if you take that one and you go halfway into the center, you see there's a little lighter circle inside of there. And if you go from there and you go out 2 times, double the distance, there is another sphere. And this ratio of going one halfway in and doubling going out. So say this was that little star with a kind of the 6 little things around it, if you go halfway in, that brings you to another level of existence. Excuse me. And if you go double out, it comes out to this bigger one that you see on there. And that is another level of existence. This is real. This is not, this is the core of how every single thing in this universe works. And at one time, maybe we can go back and explain how there could be other possibilities than what we're about to do now. I gotta get some water. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So we can.
So Drunvalo, I was going to ask, when the toroidal field, right? It's spiraling and it comes down to a bindu point, and that bindu point is literally the center of that geometry. And because of the holographic fractal nature of creation, that center is the center of the center of the center of the center. It's the center of every atom, it's the center of every electron, center of every planet, center of every galaxy, every universe. There's only one center because, and it's at your center.
That center can be located in many places though.
Simultaneously.
Science has found it, and they call it singularity, because everything in the universe, without exception, other than these things called singularity, are polarized. They're positive and negative, male and female, on, hot and cold. And but there's these places in the universe, like in the middle of the sun, they say, in the middle of the galaxy and other places, they have no polarity in them. And if you can put me back, can you put me back where you are right now? Okay. The sphere comes like this, and it comes around and it wraps in. This is your sphere, your toroidal field, and it goes in, and it keeps getting closer and closer and closer. And when it enters into the heart chakra, those places come so close together that there's just for just an instant of a second, if you're moving through it, there's no polarity. And so every single thing that has a heart in existence also has this point of singularity in it. And you can use your own body to connect to everything in the universe. There's a book I'm writing called Cosmic Tantra, and that hopefully will be out in a few months. And in there, we're going to teach you what the Mayans were talking about, that at this time, once this cycle is ended, and it has the end of time the end of time window of the Mayans has not completed itself yet. It did start on October 24th, 2007, and a comet came into our solar system that exploded as it went around the sun and became this huge blue sphere in the sky. It actually literally became bigger than the sun. We've never experienced anything like that before. And that is the Hopi prophecy and the Mayan prophecy, which are identical. That is the beginning of when this end of time window began. And it's going to end when a huge red star appears in our sky, which I have been talking about for a long time. It hasn't appeared, and until it appears, we are still in the end time window. And that could happen any minute. Right now, I always thought it was Betelgeuse that would be that one. There's 4 stars around the belt of Orion, and it's the top left-hand one. It was becoming a supernova, but it's been doing that for a long time. But last year, about 1 year ago, it started dimming. It started getting dimmer. It was imploding and going in. Some people say it is also because of some dust that's around there, but it looks like it's imploding. And if it is, then that's the first step before then it comes back out after it reaches a certain point and explodes. And we have this huge explosion. The scientists say that it's so close to us that we will feel on Earth, we will feel that explosion like it'll shake everything. And that's what they believe is true. And so, anyway, it's got diversed a little bit there. But there's so much around all of this. I could go on literally for a month just discussing all the different possibilities that aren't, nobody knows, hardly anyone. There's a few people, but not very many. But the Mayans say that when this window ends, that and the female cycle starts, which hasn't actually started, even though in 2016 we saw so many females step forward. They were just a little early. But when the window happens, the females will gain a power that they don't have right now. And when they do, they will easily be able to take over everything from the males, and which is their right, because that's for the next 12,625 years or so. We are going to be in a female cycle, and for the first 1,000 years or so, it is fantastic because all that nourishment and love and caring comes forth, and we live in a golden age in the beginning. But as time goes on, it gets harder, and eventually the females will have a hard time at the end. Then the males will take over for another 12,000 years, and it's been going on forever. And it's all tied to a tilt in the axis of the Earth.
What's the way in which all the viewers here, everybody's, here we are in quarantine and the shared experience, perhaps many billion people around the world are experiencing, something similar where they've got time on their hands, space to go inwards. Could you help guide us into the tiny space within our heart? Because, perhaps we have an unprecedented opportunity.
I'm going to do that in just a few minutes.
Oh my God, I'm stealing your thunder. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't need the thunder. It's okay. Anyway, in just a little bit, I'm going to lead you through a guided meditation to get you into that space. But once you're there, I'm going to leave you between you and God, and all of you, and you are all connected. Anyone that's in their tiny space and another person that's in their tiny space, you are connected. You could communicate with them, with any of those people that are there. Could be a million people, who knows? But whatever it is, you are all connected in your hearts. And that's a very, very powerful thing. The ancient ones say that when that happens, if they all begin to dream the same dream, that dream will come out and occur quickly. You can grow arms from going in there, and you can heal anything, including the coronavirus. You can do anything at all from inside your tiny space of your heart. So it's much more. But if you start going in there every day and spending time in there, you will begin to understand. You have tremendous guides that can see you. That if you ask for your higher selves to come in and appear for you when you're sitting in the sacred, the tiny space of the heart, they will appear in whatever appearance they have. And you can communicate in any language you want. It doesn't matter. In that space, you can talk in any language, anywhere in the universe. You are tied to everything when you're in there. But if you're not in there and you're just in a human body and that's been cut off, you're just in a human body and you're kind of helpless compared to what is possible here now. This is the biggest gift I know I can give you. And it's also the biggest gift that I know that you can access, making huge, massive changes. And again, it only takes 3. And so if you can just get 3 people, it requires 1 male and 2 females, or 2 females and 1 male to do this. You can't have all one the same. And you can go in with just 3 or more and alter whole things that have been going on that have been not good for the earth. You could change them. And so, and you have the right to do that, because when you're connected in there, you are one with God. Well, and in fact, the Om, where did the Om come from? It came from your tiny space of your heart. When you're in there, if you'll listen, you'll hear this Om going on all the time, never stopping. And that is the source of where Om came from.
Well, DRUNVALO, we actually have 1,200 people watching this right now simultaneously. What if I wanted to maybe give like 2 or 3 minutes. If you feel like it, we're going to do a little experiment here. Whoever's watching, take the next 3 minutes and just 2-finger click on the Facebook screen, and it'll say copy URL, or it'll say, let me just tell you exactly what it says, just so I don't get, show video URL. Okay, click on that. I'm just going to share screen and do it so that you guys, because this will increase the ability for us to. So take a look. You just go like this, show video URL, click on this little guy here, copy it, go to your messenger window, open up one of your friends here and go, sure. And then go, oh, come on now. Then go, excuse me, you guys can do it. Hang on, I'm just gonna do it. Hang on. Okay, whatever. The point is, you can basically take this and forward it to all of your, just forward it to all of your friends right now. Just do it. We're here live. This is like a little bit of history in the making. This is how many people we got going on, 1,200. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna see if in the next 3 minutes, if we can increase that number by a little bit. And if not, then a good portion of the 1,200 will do this with us, because if it's only 3 of us, and if you're saying just 3, well, what if a couple thousand or 1,000 of us could do it?
It doesn't matter how many it is, except that you can't go below 3. At least that's what the teachers tell me.
Okay.
And you have to have both sexes in there. Can't have it all one. Okay. And so that's really all there is to it. But there's my wife, Claudette. She has been trained by Coletta is her name, and she's was the last living member, I think, of her tribe in Jerusalem. And she knew how to. She was working with medical doctors, and she was able to go into this space and see how everything is images, and how you could take an image that's something that happened. Like she had a person who took his entire arm off, his right arm. He was in a bicycle accident, and it went for years without the arm. And then once she was trained, he brought her into the space where they understand the images. They went backwards in time, took the image out, put in a new one where it never happened, and his arm grew right back. And there was about 20 medical doctors here when they saw this. And so really, anything, you can heal anything, you can solve anything from in the tiny space of your heart.
Even those that might be experiencing the fear of experiencing COVID, or maybe having symptoms, or like even just the very visceral experience of wondering if they do have it, right? All that can be so easily resolved in us experiencing, remembering our true nature. Basically going to the center of God.
Way more than what we think, for most people, what they think. And we fell. We lost it for a while. We fell down, and we're we have the opportunity right now to come back and be far, far more than a human being.
DRUNVALO, what do you feel about okay, it's gone up, right on, cool, thank you guys. You guys are awesome, so sweet. What do you think about us doing that right now? Like, could we do this in 25 minutes?
Redo what? The whole thing?
Yeah. Well,
the only thing they need, the new people just came in, they just need to understand those 2 slides again.
Okay, I will do it right now. So here,
this is the same kind of thing that the picture you just showed, but they need to see what 2 there. This slide here shows a toroidal field inside of another toroidal field. This one is being used for to talk about the magnetic field, the biomagnetic field of the human being. But it can be used for this other purpose of understanding the tiny space of the heart. The tiny space of the heart is, you have to go through that outer field first, and that outer field is amazing things. The Akashic records are in there. for everything that's ever happened in the past, happening now, or ever will happen in the future. It's all in every single person that has a beating heart in their body. And so when you, and then this, it comes from I gotta find it again.
Chandogya Upanishad.
That's right.
8.1.2-3.
Yes, you got it. And this is thousands of years old. And it says, if someone says to you, in the fortified city of the imperishable, our body, there is a lotus, and in this lotus a tiny space, what does it contain that one should desire to know it? You must reply, as vast as this space without is. The tiny space within your heart, heaven and earth are found in it. Fire and air, sun and moon, lightning and the constellations, whatever belongs to you here below and all that doesn't, all of this is gathered in that tiny space within your heart. They knew, they understood that all the stars, everything that's in the universe that we look out, it's inside of your tiny space of your heart. This is really true. You could go inside the center of the earth and you will find the same thing. And I've done that. It's the same inside the center of the earth as it is inside your tiny space of your heart. There's no real difference at all that I can see. And but the only difference, well, there is a difference between the stars that are outside the earth and the ones that are inside the earth, or the same way the ones that are outside your body or inside your heart. The ones outside the earth are male, and they have certain restrictions on how you can move in them. But the ones inside the earth or in your tiny space, they don't have that restriction. Wherever you want to be, you just look at it and say, I want to be there. You see a star 100 million light years away, and you're there in 0 time. Not even instantly. That's too slow. It's 0 time. And the new science that's coming out can prove this. They can prove that that's what's going on. It used to be that for a long time you didn't know what was actually happening, but now it's different. I guess I'm getting a little not clear here right now. So we only have a little bit of time left, and I think I'm going to have to begin the meditation, or we won't be able to finish.
We're ready to do it.
What is the time right now?
So we're at 5:34, and we can go. And sorry, this is
No, it's 4:34.
It's 4:34. I'm in Mountain Time. Sorry, I'm in sunny Edmonton, and then and we can go until 5 p.m. Was that going to give us enough time?
Yeah, I think so. If we start right now,
Let's do it.
It will. So thank you, all you other people that just came in. Thank you. I hope this changes your life, because it really could, as well as change the earth itself. And that's where I'm aiming for, as we begin to see that, we could have a whole new world, a world that doesn't have any money, for example, and that where everybody has everything they need, and there's there's no pressure. It can really exist. And we just have to learn how to begin to use what is inside of our bodies and what's there. It's that is also the key to being able to become illuminated and become immortal. Once you stay in there long enough, you'll know exactly how you can become immortal, and it'll be crystal clear to you. And anyway, again, this is just the beginning. I'm assuming that most of you don't know what I'm talking about, and if you go into meditation every day or whenever you feel like it, don't go in if you don't want to. That's not good. Go in when you're feeling love and happiness and you want to go in and do it. That's the time to do it. So, okay, here we go. How do I begin here? First of all, you need to get comfortable and with your back really straight and in lotus if you can. If you are female and you want to lie down on your back, that's okay. Just don't fall asleep. So close your eyes and just begin to relax. Just let everything go and feel your body relaxing and getting soft. and begin to breathe rhythmically so that you breathe the same length of time in that you breathe out. And as you breathe rhythmically, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just begin to do that and stay the best you can all the way through this meditation, if you can do it. If you fall asleep or something, that won't help. But if you stop the breath, you can still go, even if you stop the breath. Okay. Now, wherever you are, and people, believe me, I have tested tens of thousands of people. People their spirit is centered in different places in their body. Sometimes it's in their pineal gland, that's where most people are. Sometimes it's in other places. Sometimes it's in their heart chakra. Sometimes it's outside of their body. They're off on one side or up or above or below. And so wherever you are, I don't care, it doesn't matter. Just return to your brain, because that's where we have to start. So just feel yourself going into your head, and that's where your spirit is. And then feel yourself beginning to move away from your brain and going down into your throat and moving down through your throat and into your lungs. And just, you can either see yourself going there, or you could feel or sense yourself going there. It doesn't make any difference, as long as you can just connect to what's happening. And now continue. The heart is around those lungs in there, and a lot of times people think that the heart is off to the left side. It's not. It's in the center and just slightly off to the left side. And so the heart chakra is both left and right side are connected through the heart chakra. And just keep moving until you can find the heart. You can see it, or you can sense it, or you can feel it. And I'm going to give you just a moment to do that. However you do it, it's fine. Okay. Assuming that most of you can do it. If you can't do it right now, then try to follow the best you can. Jesus had a way of going into behind the heart. There's a little vortex goes in there, and he brought his people into the heart through that little vortex. I've used that many times. It's really easy. Excuse me, I'm really dry. Okay, so now that you can see or sense or feel the heart, feel yourself just going into it, inside of the heart. And as you do, you're going to go through the outer toroidal field. You have no choice. And you're going to be inside the heart and inside that toroidal field. There's so much that's here. It is amazing what is, and especially just for you, for each one of you, you have your own Akashic records in there. Everywhere you have ever been since the beginning of time, you have always existed. There has never been a time when you have not existed, and there will never be a time when you don't exist. You may exist in different forms, or in formless ways, or in ways that you can't imagine right now, but you will always exist, and you always have. And so here's my instructions to you now, to find the inner space, or the tiny toroidal field inside there. Just do this. This works with almost everyone. Just say that you want to go into the tiny space, into the inner toroidal field, and that you want to go straight from there to the tiny space of the heart. And so what you do is you ask yourself, I'm going to move. And when you say this, when you actually begin this process, and say, I'm going to move. It doesn't matter how you move, whether you're moving little circles or straight lines or curves or anything. That doesn't make any difference. Just you feel yourself moving, and you're going to go right through into the inner toroidal field, and then you're going to keep moving. But when you stop, when you feel yourself stop, wherever you are, that is your tiny space. It never fails. You're there. Even though you may see that you're in darkness, this space is filled with light, and you can allow yourself to begin to see around you. Very often people find themselves in a cave, or they find themselves in the stars, or somewhere. It doesn't make any difference. Wherever it is, that's your space. And you will probably keep coming back to that space. I'm going to give you just a few minutes or a couple minutes or so to just feel the tiny space of your heart. So let's do that right now. Say to yourself, I'm going to move, and I'm going to enter into the toroidal field, and I'm going to keep moving until I stop, and I know I'll be there. So let's do that. Say that to yourself, and then feel yourself begin to move. And you may move in all kinds of ways. It doesn't make any difference. It's usually like a minute or two, and you'll feel yourself being absolutely still. If you feel yourself come to be still, you are there, and just begin to allow the light to come into your field of vision. If you're still moving, keep going till you feel yourself stopping. There is almost always water in this tiny space somewhere. And you may feel the urge to go into that water, or to whatever you see, you may feel an urge to move toward it. Follow your intuition. Trust yourself completely. Now I'm going to assume that you are all stopped at your tiny space. And here now, you can ask for there to be light, and it will come. And you will be able to see where you are. So I'm going to leave you here for a while. Sometimes the light will not come for 5 minutes or something, but just trust yourself. Feel where you are. Listen to see if you can hear the sound of Om that is everywhere inside the tiny space. The old ones tell me that this Om has been in this tiny space since the beginning of the creation, and of this universe and even before. I'm going to leave you alone for a while now and be in silence. I'm going to return to the outer part of your body in just a moment, but whatever you're doing, just finish it. Okay, just listen to my words. You do not need to travel back to get back into your outer body. It's really best if you just leave your spirit there right now and just open your eyes. Still stay centered in the tiny place of your heart, in your heart chakra. Okay, now slowly take a little more effort and open your eyes.
Amazing. Drunvalo, thank you so much. We have about three, maybe 4 minutes before another guest, but we can take some time.
Okay. Ken, I just want to thank everyone for being here, and I hope this is a blessing in your lives and for the earth. You're just beginning to understand how to use this, but thank you. And Adil, can they send feedback to you by email?
Sure.
I'd like to hear what your experience was.
Sure. If you sign up at unify.org for the mailing list, and in the subject line, just write Drunvalo-feedback. We'll compile some emails for you and some messages. And then we should do this more. We're all, you know, this is the time of the mystic.
Well, people, when they have an experience, they really want to talk about it, and it's important. Their words are important. So anyway, I just want to thank all of you. I know Adil needs to move on, so.
No, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be with you. I love you, Drunvalo. I love you so much. We can hang out for a few more minutes.
I love everybody in the world, so don't. It's good. We have to stick to time schedules, and that's the way it is.
Drunvalo, on behalf of everyone in the here joined with us, there's now, let's see, 1.6 or 1,600 people joined with us.
Okay.
I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for loving us enough and just like sharing, taking the time to sort out these tech things and just be with us. You're so gracious, and you've always been so unconditionally loving. You've been one of the greatest teachers in my life, Drunvalo. I don't know if you know that. And you've taught me so much just by the way that you be, and your kindness, your gentleness, your innocence. I love you. I love you so much. I just really, and I know I'm speaking on behalf of so many other people who feel the same way. Thank you for all that you've done for the human race all these years.
Not this human race.
Yeah, you do.
We're a little crazy right now.
It's a little crazy. That's why we get some wisdom from some of the ascended masters, you know, be like, all right, calling on the Melchizedek order. We need some help out here. Things are going a little batshit, but it's all good. And the answer was, go to the tiniest little space in the heart. I'll show you how to get there. Thank you, Drunvalo. And we'll take some more time over the coming. I'll make sure we get some of those messages, and we'll take some time over the coming days to see what we want to play with. We got a communication channel open now. I'm actually going to bring my friend in, Rollin McCrady. Do you know Rollin McCrady from HeartMath?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
He's good people.
Great work. I really respect him.
Me too. He's we can have a little transition as you don't have to leave right away. It would be nice just to say hi even. Rollin McCrady in the house. Check who I got here. DRUNVALO MELCHIZEDek.
Good day.
Hey man. Yeah, nice to see you, Rollin.
Yeah, likewise.
We were just getting in that. There's a whole group of us getting into the tiny space in the heart. And DRUNVALO was guiding us in. I felt that so much, DRUNVALO. It was so beautiful, such a gift.
Yeah. Thank you.
It feels like it's been a big.
There's a lot to say about it too. So.
Yeah, when you began to talk about the toroidal fields and the magnetic fields of the Earth, I began to already start thinking about Rollin and his work and how, though we didn't talk about it, it's almost like perfectly, just perfectly timed, divinely orchestrated in that, Rollin, this is what we started talking about, how the presentation started today with DRUNVALO was not planned.
That's actually the biomagnetic field. Rollin, I don't know how far HEARTMATH has got. They could only measure it out to about 10 feet, but BioCybernaut can measure it out 50 feet, and it's really a little bit further for most people. It's about 55 or 60 feet for most people.
However, well, I won't get into that now because we're supposed to be starting our show 2 minutes ago. So
okay, all right.
But that's a conversation I'd love to have sometime.
We should do that. We'll pick it up. We'll have some fun together. I love you, DRUNVALO. Thank you so much for taking the time. And Rollin, we're excited to have you on. So, DRUNVALO, I'll call you later and give you a hug.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Help you out. Bye. All right. Hey, man. We got you live and direct. We're on. How's it going, Rollin? Thanks for coming back. Appreciate it.
I'm great.
Man, our audience yesterday went a little crazy over all the awesome stuff you were sharing.